Welcome everybody to the second part of our series on the ghosts of the Dennison Railroad Depot Museum. Now I asked the question in the first one, I'm going to ask it again. Have you ever been in a space where the hair on the back of your neck sticks up and you feel that shiver run down your spine, feel the hair on your arms stick up, and maybe that somebody's lurking right behind you? If you've ever felt that feeling, you'll definitely feel it when you come here to the Dennison Depot. What we're going to talk about today is the very first ghost that has actually made a physical appearance here in the museum and has actually made quite a reputation. So I'm going to introduce our museum director, executive director, Wendy Zucal, and she's going to talk all about our red flannel shirt ghost.
Thank you, Jacob. In our last series, we talked about the ghosts that were from the Methodist Church that we believe are World War II. But prior to that, for many years, it was nice and quiet and peaceful here. And there really was only one ghost that anybody identified. I did not see the ghost. I guess you're supposed to be into ghosts to see them. So just so you all hear, I'm not into you, so you don't need to show me.
Be careful what you word.
I know. Got my medal here. So anyhow, this particular ghost, the first ghost to have an identity, and he is the red flannel shirt ghost. And for years and years and years, the restaurant staff would say they would see him walking back and forth in the lobby. And I never saw it, but they would all comment on that. Years went by, and we sort of didn't hear about him anymore. And then probably about 5 years ago, there was a Chamber of Commerce breakfast here. And it was very early in the morning. So when I got here, our restaurant staff was in the kitchen, and Terry Edwards, who was the director of the Twin City Chamber, had arrived, and they were all in the kitchen. They had gone through the kitchen door and were getting the breakfast ready. When I arrived before everybody else, I unlocked our main door and came to the lobby and went into the restaurant to say hi and get ready for the breakfast. And Terry said to me, "Wendy, there's somebody out in the lobby waiting for you." And I said, "Terry, no, I just unlocked the door. There's nobody out there." And she said, "I'm pretty sure there's a gentleman who's been waiting for you." And I said, "No, Terry, there's nobody out there. I just unlocked the door." And she said, "Well, I'm pretty sure there's a man in a red flannel shirt who's been walking back and forth waiting for you." Well, there you go. Our red flannel gentleman was back. And obviously, this building's been here from 1873. Railroading is a very dangerous industry. Many people died in Dennison working on the railroad, and this building, of course, is where many caskets came in off the train. So that does explain some of our activity. So we identify that as the red flannel shirt railroader who wanders our lobby.
Yep. And what we're going to do now is we're going to move into one of our other spaces in the museum. We're going to talk about some of the ghosts activity that happens in there. All right, now we're in the baggage room of the Dennison Railroad Depot Museum. So as you can see, this room is where we talk about how all the baggage came in from the train. So there's a door behind you that you cannot see, but there's also a door here that opened onto the street side. So baggage would come through here, and then it would be tagged, and then it would be placed onto the street or vice versa, depending on which way it was going. Now, the interesting thing about this room is that during World War II and World War I, coffins would actually go through here. So when a soldier died overseas, they would actually ship the soldier back in the coffin, bring it to Dennison, set it in here, and then put it out onto the street. Now this story has been told to us by the original baggage master, Mr. Carnahan, before we opened, that when the coffins come through here, he would actually sleep on the coffins that would go through this space. Now, we don't typically always have a lot of activity in here, but interesting things do happen. If you look up there in the corner, that little red flashing light that you might be seeing in the video is a security camera or a security sensor. A lot of times that sensor will go off for no apparent reason. And it has to be something large enough to actually set it off. So we really don't think bats or birds are causing it, and it's not for hitting the floor, so it can't be like mice. So sometimes we think something or someone is walking through and setting the alarm off. All right, welcome to the gray room of the Dennison Railroad Depot Museum. Now this room was not original to the building. This was actually added later, what was the actual depot and then the REA Express agency building. So these were actually a walkway in between the two. We closed it in and created another museum space. So this is what we call the gray room. We're not very good with our names. We have gray carpet, gray walls. We have the red room, which has red carpet, red walls. We have the green room, which is green carpet and green walls. Whatever. But anyway, so in this room, we're going to talk about this particular object. And now, if you watched the first series, you heard Wendy talk about the annex, which is the Methodist church that is on Grand Street. That is where we used to have a lot of our collections. Now, they have had multiple mediums come to both sites, both at the annex and here. And I'm not going to pretend to understand how a medium does their job. I don't know if they feel like they hear names, they feel presence. I'm not sure. I know, and all of them are different. But in this particular case, there was a medium who came to visit, and they went to visit the annex. And they kept hearing this name while they were over there, and the name was Kenneth R. Moore. Well, she kept hearing it while she was over there, and then she decided to come here to the museum. She was drawn to this room, to this particular case, to this particular artifact. Now, I want to have my camera woman come in and show you the reason why she was drawn to this. If you look at the top of the book, the name on the book says Kenneth R. Moore. Now that seems a little bit too coincidental to just say that possibly she heard some name over there. I'm sure there's nothing written on the walls that say that name. And for some reason, why was she drawn to this room inside the museum in this case, knowing that this book belonged to Kenneth R. Moore? That makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I don't know about yours. Join us next time when we're going to be talking about the ghosts of the baseball room, specifically the children ghosts of the baseball room, and our model train room and what happened in there. Join us again.